What's going on, guys? Welcome to a new video on the channel. I thought I would do my honest 6 months hands-on review of the Acus M1 as sirens go past. Yeah, I mean there are some things to get into with this. There are very good points, and there are some kind of annoying things about it that I mean, it's not a hindrance when you're tattooing, but it's it could just be better. Do you know what I mean? So first of all, I have used this for 6 months. I've used it a lot on different skin types. I've used it on sensitive skin. I've used it on very good skin. I've used it on all different body parts as well. And the first time I used this, I was shocked at how good it was. And it has probably blown me away in what I thought it was capable of doing. I think it's better than any machine I've used, and I'll explain in a bit. And I think with how versatile it is, I think it's just the best machine out there on the market at this moment in time. And I think, obviously, I'm a massive Bishop fan. As you know, on this channel, I have used a lot of Bishops, and I think this machine is all three Bishops in one. The creators of this machine were the creators of most of the, well, I'm pretty sure they were the first pen style tattoo machine to go on the market with Cheyenne, the Cheyenne Hawk pen. And these guys behind this machine at Acus are the brains behind that machine and the Soul Nova and stuff like that. So you know, I didn't know much about the company when I first got offered to use this machine and to test it out and to give feedback to them. Wasn't even to give feedback publicly, just to see how it could be made better. And I was blown away, to be honest. Like, I get a lot of emails from a lot of companies saying, "Oh, can you try this? Can you try this? Can you promote this? Can you promote that?" And I was a bit reluctant to, because I don't really like. I like finding stuff out for myself, and I wasn't paid to do it. I wasn't, you know. It was just, it was a one-off, and I'm so glad I answered that email, because it's quite truly an amazing machine. I think there's 4 cams with it now. I think there's a 3.2. I haven't used that one yet, but I've used the 3.7 and the 4.5, and then I believe now I'm getting sent the 4.1 cam, which is very close to the Packer, which is a 4.2. So 0.1 millimeter between them. But it's the fact that you can change the motor strength within the machine from +2, then a +1, so that's a stronger. Then there's a 0, so it's a, you know, just a neutral motor, and then you've got a -1, -2, -3. I've been using, so when I first got the machine, I was like, right, because I've been using the Packer, which is a 4.2, I thought, right, I'm going to use the 4.5 because that's the closest cam that they did. And run it at a low volt, because that's what I was doing with the Packer, and I think I was running it at, because this machine runs in hertz, it's a bit different to the Bishop line. I'm comparing it to the Bishop line primarily because that's what I've used for the last few years of my tattooing career, and that's, you know, the only thing I've got to, because the Bishop line were, the Bishop 1 series were the first pen style tattoo machines that I used primarily, so that's the only thing I've got to judge it from. And I went straight in with the 4.5 cam, used it at a low hertz, which was, I believe it was around 70 hertz. In terms of voltage, I'm not sure what it is, but I felt the machine, and I'm experienced enough to feel how fast the needle's going, and I tried to emulate it as close as possible to the Bishop Packer. Now, on good skin, it performed unbelievably at a -3 motor, so it gave it a bit of give. And on sensitive skin, it was just hitting way too hard. It was just really reddening the skin up. It was bleeding a lot more. It was quite hard to use on sensitive skin, but I knew that was because it was the 4.5 stroke cam. Primarily, what you would use for a high stroke is to line and to pack. Packing, it was unbelievable. Packing black in and colours, it was a joke in a good way. And yeah, I then started to revert back to what I knew in some lives, and you saw me then change from the Acus to the back to the Bishop 1 series, because I was just, when I had when I had a client with sensitive skin, I knew my way around that machine, and I knew what to do in terms of like lower the voltage and make sure I wasn't going too deep into the skin, and just to give it that chance of creating a nice tattoo that would heal well. And I changed the cam in the Acus M1 to the 3.7, and since then it's just blown me away even more. So, and by the way, I'm not getting paid to say this. This was just a video idea because a lot of you have asked my opinion, and I get messages every single day on my Instagram, and we just hit 100,000 followers on there, so thank you very much for the support. Goes a long way in letting me know that you guys like the content I'm making and the tattoos I'm doing, so thank you very much. Head over to the Instagram below. And when I changed it to the 3.7, I was like, this is just a new beast. It's I just instantly fell in love with it again, and I believe I've been using it at a slightly higher voltage because after the podcast with David Vega, he uses the Bishop shader, and I started using the Bishop shader at the volt that he was using, and he's one of my inspirations in the tattoo game, and I started using it at 9 volts because that's what he uses, between 8.5 to 9 volts depending on how sensitive the skin is. If it's sensitive, then you need to bring it down to just a touch. So that's what I was doing, and the shader is amazing. It really is a good machine. But with this, you've got so much more options to, if you are struggling with skin, you've got the option to lower the motor strength on it. And I was running it at I have been running it because I've been using it every single day now, the Acus M1, and I've been running it at around 100 hertz to 106 hertz, which is a bit faster. I think it feels like it's around 8 to 9 volts with how fast the needle's hitting the skin. And again, I've tried to emulate the feel of the Bishop 1 shader just to give it an honest comparison. And it's just an amazing machine. I've had tattoos that have healed, come back with both the 4.5 stroke and the 3.7 stroke on the Acus, and they've both healed really well. Sometimes, actually, I tattooed today, and I got a tattoo back that was still kind of healing. It's been healing for 2 weeks, around 2 weeks, and there were some parts where I was packing in the solid blacks, maybe around the nose area and stuff, like you have the shadow under the nose. They were taking longer to heal with the 4.5 stroke, which is obviously because it's hitting the skin so hard. But obviously trying not to overwork the skin and do multiple passes to get the ink in. which you would on sensitive skin with that kind of level of stroke. It would solid black areas would tend to heal a bit longer after the soft shading parts. So with that being said, I made the change to the 3.7 cam, and it's just been perfect. It's honestly been perfect. The batteries, I've obviously ran the batteries out and then charged them back up. I've probably done around 10 to 15 charges maybe on each battery, and I have noticed the batteries don't last as long as say a Bishop B charged or a critical power battery, but combined together, because you get two batteries with this, they do last as long, but you just have to switch. But because I'm a fast tattooist, I can normally get my tattoos done in around 3 to 5 hours, and one battery at full charge is pretty dead by that time. So 2 would probably go for around 10 hours, which is more than enough time, because obviously when you're using one battery, you can just charge the other, and then you can just flip it over when it's dead, and the batteries do charge quite quick with the charge you get with this. So I mean, the other flaws, I would say, if you can call it a flaw, is you can see where you grip just below, above the needle in the image to the right hand side of the screen. You can see the grip. That is the same size as the pen itself, which houses the motor and stuff above that glossy black line, and that is quite shallow. It's quite small. So when you're wrapping your machine, for instance, or you're holding onto the machine, when it's fully wrapped, it's not too bad. But when you need to twist it to change needle depth, it can be quite hard to twist because there's not much to grab hold of. That's one flaw about the design, I think. And I have been speaking to the Acus team over in Germany, and they've said that they're bringing out a new grip for it, which will probably benefit that. It's going to be a larger size as well. So another thing as well, although it is quite thick, the pen, it's quite hard to hold because it's quite smooth. The grip is obviously smooth. You can see that. So this new grip's got grooves in it as well, which will just be way more comfortable to hold in your hand. I mean, it is comfortable to hold anyway, but it's just going to make it even better, I feel. So, and they are bringing out a 4.1 cam as well, which I haven't tried yet, but it is en route, I believe. So, tune into my live streams on my Instagram and on here. I still do go live on here, but I am doing a lot more on Instagram now. In terms of, tattoo technique, reels and stuff like that. So head over if you want to see them. My honest 6 months hands-on review about this machine is I still, when I first started to use it, I was like, okay, this is going to be like my initial impressions, and you can see the first impressions of this machine. I was shocked at how good it is. Very, very, very shocked. And when I started to dig deeper into who made it, who came up with the design, and it was basically the Cheyenne crew that had left Cheyenne, the designers and the brains behind their machines. They'd left Cheyenne and formed their own company, which is the Acus. And I was like, right, that explains, because the Cheyenne machines were very, 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 very good. And that explains why this machine is so good off the bat. This is the first machine they've built as well, so take that into account. I know it's expensive, but you're essentially getting 3 machines in one. You can soft shade, you can line, you can pack, based on the cam you use with it. and it's super easy to change the cam as well. Like say on a Flight Nano Elite inkjector, so hard to change the cams. You have to take the thing off, then you have to make sure it's in line and stuff like that. You have to take the cover off, sorry, make sure it's all in line before you put it in. It can be a bit fiddly. This is super easy to change, so easy to change. Within a minute it's changed. So depending on the tattoo, you just configure the machine how you want to configure it, and it's good to go. So yeah, so I if anybody asks me, I do get this a lot. If anybody asks me what machine I recommend, I will recommend the Acus M1 to, you know, from beginner to advanced like myself, to just give it a try. I got in contact with Lil B off my own back and told him about this machine, and he was like, oh yeah, I'm down to try, because he does Japanese work, he does stippling work, he does soft shading work as well. So I was like, you could probably test this machine more than I could, because I just do black and grey, like I soft shading and packing and the occasional lining, whereas he does colour, he does Japanese style kind of tattoos. And I hooked him up with the team over at Acus, and just because he was a massive inspiration for me as well, so I wanted to give him some love, I suppose. And the Acus team were more than happy to oblige, and they sent him one, and he came back to me and said, dude, this machine is like, it's insane. I was like, I know. I just needed that other kind of, I knew how good it was, but I just needed that experienced figure within the industry to confirm what I already thought, and he did. So Hans, hats off is the expression I'm trying to look for. Hats off to the Acus team on building this machine, and I'm very excited to see what you come up with for the M2. But the M1 is an incredible machine. It's definitely my favorite machine I've ever used in the 9 years I've been tattooing, and I've used a lot of different brands, a lot of different machines with different cams and stuff. So yeah, so I just wanted to put this video out. Let me know in the comment section if you've got one, and let me know how it feels for you. For me, it's unreal, and there are a few flaws that I could recommend to them, but they've got it all covered, to be honest, and they're doing a great job. So yeah, if you are a beginner, save up for one of these machines. Buy a cheap machine to get your tattooing career off to a jump, and just save your money for one of these machines, because it is an unbelievable machine, and I can't recommend it enough to people. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, guys. Please subscribe, please smash the like button if you've got one of these and you like it as well. And I will be doing more reviews of things in the future, so keep your eyes peeled for that. But from me here in London, I will see you in the next video, guys. Thank you very much for watching.